Last night we finished up with the slabbing of the honey locust, and Lars is coming up with a load here. I thought we'd throw a little bit of water on it and see what it looks like. Water on here, see what's going on. A little water on this honey locust, see how it looks. Some gradient popping out here a little bit. A little bit of rot here on this end. Good. What do you say, Lila? Well, it's the middle of September. We're still in the middle of a second wave of the pandemic. So I had 4 days off here. We were going to go to a music festival, but we scuttled that and we're cutting wood today. This is a piece of honey locust. As you can tell, it's a little bit like a snake. I just cut off the end of it. It looked like it had a little bit of rot and a bunch of ants coming out of it on this end here. See him coming out of there, but the end that I cut actually looks pretty clean, so I think we're going to get some nice wood here. It's got a little bit of a twist to it. I just slabbed an extremely large piece of honey locust. It was about 50 inches. We got it squared down to about 35 and squeaked it in the LT40 wide. It takes about a 35-inch throat on it ultimately, so we got some good 34-inch slabs out of that. It was quite a deal. I slabbed them 3 inches thick, and they're pretty heavy, but my son helped me move them with the skid loader, and that's indispensable piece of equipment here today. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to get the machine kind of oiled up. We use ATF, automatic transmission fluid, to lubricate the parts. Apparently that makes it so the sawdust doesn't stick so much. Well, we'll get going here. I'll get it lubed up, get it lifted up on the sawmill, and I think what I'm going to do on this one is make some smaller slabs. There's going to be a little twist to it, so I'll try to set it in a particular way that we can use that a little bit. Might be a little bit of a curve in a bench perhaps. We'll have to keep in mind how much width we have. We might have to rotate it a little bit, but I think that's what we're going to do with this one. Again, I think I got some pretty clean wood. I had a little bit of rot on that larger piece, so I don't know ultimately how it's going to dry. You can see on that piece that I cut off, kind of that rot down in the center of it. Of course, you miss some of that crotch figure when you cut off those branch points, but I think this is going to be better today. Hopefully, I got a friend, he's working today, but hopefully he can get off a little bit and stop by and do some videoing for me. Not all of us can have the day off today. It's a great day in Iowa, nice sunny day, about 70 degrees in the morning, and a little bit of rain in the forecast, perhaps just a couple little sprinkles, but other than that, it's pretty good. Sun's coming up. A couple of things on the saw. Gotta adjust the blade tension. When you're done for the day, you want to back off that tension, but then once you get it going for the next day, you want to tighten that up just a little bit. I usually put it a little over 3,000, because as it starts going, it's going to loosen up just a little bit. I hit a nail when I was going through that big piece of Honey Locust, so the blade's got a couple of teeth out. We'll see. This Honey Locust isn't very thick, so we'll see if it keeps up. If it doesn't, I'll just change the blade out, but I was going to see if I can get a couple more hours out of the blade, so let's start her up here. Well, I cut through a few slabs here, and I threw some water on it just to show that grain on this Honey Locust. I'm working here today by myself, so kind of got a little bit of an assembly line going here with the track loader. It's that nice grain, some good figuring around those knots, and just cut through a few of them. My sawmill will only take a few of these 3-inch slabs till I run out of space, and then I gotta move them. I can get about 15 inches or so in between the top of that head and the saw blade. I'm gonna keep going here, and maybe I'll stop and pick up the iPad if I see something interesting on some figuring. Yeah, I just had to stop here and throw some water on this. This is that next slab down. Some really nice figuring there. Getting close to a quarter saw in grain, but we're approaching that pith too, so we'll probably start getting a little bit of cracking. I got just a little bit of shake in my blade. As I mentioned, I hit a nail on that last large log, but she's still going pretty strong. Losing a little bit of tension as I cut through. That's usually a sign that you need to change your saw blade. This LT40Y, it's got a 26 horsepower gas motor. It's not a diesel. I didn't go with the diesel, but I kind of wish I had. I do live up in northern Iowa, and the weather does get pretty cold, so I had some concerns about utilizing it in the winter, but I think it would have been all right. We'll keep going. I'll stop again if I see something interesting.